The men's ice hockey team on upset alert? And women's ice hockey beat reporter David Klepfer joins us in studio to talk about the team's early success.
Both men's and women's soccer looking to get wins against Marist, while field hockey and volleyball trying to get back on track.
All of this and much more. Sports Paws starts right now.
Welcome into Studio 125. I am Keith Savage. The man sitting next to me is Gage Kilborn. Gage, we have a lot of sports to cover this week.
Yes, we have a boatload of sports to talk about, so let's jump right into the action. We begin with the men's ice hockey team as they travel 2 hours north to Chestnut Hill to face off against the Boston College Eagles. Let's roll the tape. As we said before, Quinnipiac taking on the Boston College Eagles in the Conte Forum. The Bobcats kick off their 2022 campaign on the road against a tough Hockey East opponent in the Boston College Eagles. So we'll kick things off into the first period. Just 3 minutes into the game, Zach Metza rips a shot past former Colgate goaltender Mitch Benson. Quinnipiac leads early 1-0. Later on in the first period, it'll be Notre Dame transfer Cam Burke slicing through the Bobcats D, only to be denied by Yanni Peretz on a breakaway chance. Headed into the second period, Quinnipiac up 1-0. And we'll see Bobcats defenseman Charles Alexis Legault. He scores his first NCAA goal from the right. A way to kick off your career. 2-0 Quinnipiac headed into the third period. Moving along, Ethan DeYoung forces a turnover and passes it to Michael Lombardi. And he slips it past Benson. Bobcats extend their lead 3-0. But they're not done scoring just yet, folks. Jacob Quillen, he speeds down the ice and drops the puck off to Ethan DeYoung, who snipes it past Benson. And they'll put the finishing touch on the game. Quinnipiac takes this one 4-0.
The Bobcats look to continue the hot streak against the Long Island Sharks on Sunday. Let's get right into the highlight. The number 6 Bobcats take on the LIU Sharks in a Sunday afternoon matchup in their first regular season game of the 2022-2023 campaign. They're looking to extend their unbeaten streak against Long Island. And let's get right into the first period. Zach Metza to Colin Graff on the flank, tries to the bumper. Ethan DeYoung, who sends it back for a wicked one-timer. Bottle pop, 1-0 Bobcats on the power play. Then in the second period, Christophe Tellier and Timothy Heineke off some broken passes, self to the puck, left shoulder, blocker, side. Right there you see now, let's move on. Later, grab defenseman Jacob Norquist gets his pocket, picked by Chris Pappas, who slides one by. Yanni Perez cut the lead for the Sharks. Moving on to the third, Anthony Vincent charges into the Bobcats' end and beats Perez high blocker side, tying the game at 2 apiece. Now, some extra hockey. Purpura, Stonewalls, DeYoung, in overtime right here. You'll see it. Then he can't get that, but Perez gives Quinnipiac one more chance as he denies Spencer Cock on rush to send this game beyond overtime. It's shootout time. Perez swallows up the first toe drag wrist. First year, Sam Lipkin has Purpura thinking fivefold, but beats him near side blockers. Shoot! The Bobcats will not capitalize on the next opportunity. Got Perez still tall, getting it back with a backhand and shutting the wickets on the final attempt. Bobcats win the shootout. After the tie against the Sharks, let's see where the Bobcats stand in the latest USCHO poll. The Bobcats moved down one spot in this week's poll, sitting in 8th place in the USCHO while receiving 649 votes. Atop the table is defending national champion Denver, who picked up 46 first-place votes and almost 1,000 points. Minnesota, North Dakota, Minnesota Duluth, and Minnesota State follow to round over the top 5. The Bobcats will travel to number 3 North Dakota next weekend for 2 pivotal top 10 matchups. Now switching locker rooms. On Friday, the women's ice team looked to become 5-0 against the St. Anselm's Hawks. The Hawks started out with the lead, scoring the first goal, but the Bobcats did not look back, scoring 6 unanswered goals. Graduate student forward Shea Maloney scored a hat trick, scoring the last 3 goals in total. 4 Quinnipiac players scored in the game. Graduate student Goaltender Logan Angers got the win with 5 saves. The Bobcats outshot their opponents from Manchester 55-7. Other goal scorers for the Bobcats included Maya Labin, Alexia Gia, and Sadie Pearce.
Following the Bobcats' 6-1 victory, the Hawks and Bobcats traveled to Hamden to finish their home-and-home stand. Let's see how they fared. As we see St. Anselm Hawks taking on the Quinnipiac Bobcats. And in the non-conference play before kicking ready for the ECAC action, getting the first period right away. Bobcats pressing early. A shot from Maddie Samuelskevich goes off Mallory Maracher's stick in front, giving Quinnipiac the early 1-0 cushion. Going into the second period now, it will be Bobcats want to put the pedal to the metal. Sadie Pearce sends a wrister from the top of the face-off circle, extending the lead to 2-0. St. Anselm is still fighting, however. A breakaway from Margaret Sullivan is created off of a turnover. The Hawks cut the lead in half, 2-1 Quinnipiac. But the Bobcats, they're still full of steam ahead. Kendall Cooper feeds Alexia Gia on the Quinnipiac power play. 3-1 is the score. Still moving on, same period. Olivia Mobley joins the goal parade with a wrister high in the slot. 4-1 Bobcats, still in the second period. It is back on the power play. Alexa Hoskin buries it, and it'll be now a 5-1 advantage for the Bobcats. Moving into the third period now. Bobcats are not done yet. They want more insurance. How about they take it out of a plan with the odd man rush agency? Nina Steighoff with a finish, 6-1 Quinnipiac. And the cherry on top. Let's not forget about Kate Riley. She delivers top shelf to set a new season high for goals. 7-1 is your final. Quinnipiac with the victory. Following the demolition of St. Anselm's this weekend, let's see where they stand in the latest USCHO poll. There was not much movement in the top 8 as Quinnipiac remains in 7th, just 30 points behind the Colgate Raiders. The Ohio State Buckeyes gained another first-place vote this week, taking one away from Minnesota, who currently sits in 2nd. And 3rd is Northeastern, just 3 points behind the Golden Gophers for 2nd. And Minnesota, Duluth, and Wisconsin wrap up the top 5. But the ECAC leads the country with 7 teams representing the top 15 USCHO poll. Now that we are all caught up with the women's ice hockey team, we are going to take it to the women's ice hockey beat reporter, David Klepfer. So David, what were your biggest takeaways from non-conference play?
My biggest takeaway from non-conference play was how truly deep this team is. We've seen a lot of goals spread across the board from this team. A lot of first goals too. Madison Chandler scored not only her first, her second, but also her 3rd goal in the first home opener of the year against Boston College. Next up, Mallory Maracher scored her first NCAA goal, though she is a sophomore, this past weekend against St. Anselm. She was one of 7 different goal scorers against that St. Anselm team on Saturday. Going into this year, there was big shoes to fill. Taylor House and Corrine Schroeder were gone, they graduated, and those left some big holes in the lineup. Alexia Gia stepped up massively. Though she's always been a huge part of this team, she's leading the Bobcats with 5 goals. Sadie Pearce also helping out there, 2 game-winning goals. And Logan Angers stepping up huge to fill the shoes of Corrine Schroeder. She has put out shutout after shutout, and Katie Baudette has putting up great numbers as well.
Now, David, the Bobcats power play has been working with 3 power play goals last game. How is the power play adjusted in your eyes?
Well, it's been a big improvement. Last year, the power play was a bit of a struggle. They were finishing around 19%, which is not necessarily where you want to be. This year, big increase. We're looking at about 29%. Huge. That is absolutely huge. Not only that, I mentioned Alexia Gia before. She's 5 goals this year. 4 of those came on the power play. Absolutely huge. Quarterback there. She's not the only one, though. Spreading the wealth around, Sadie Pearce, Alexa Hoskins have also scored goals. And Kate Riley, stay-at-home defenseman, not really one that you see scoring goals often, but she got her piece of the pie this past weekend against St. Anselm.
All right, David, one final question. Now looking ahead at Harvard, what do the Bobcats need to do to stay undefeated?
Well, Harvard is their first game starting off ECAC play, and Cass Turner said it herself. This is a tough conference to play in. Every team can play. Every team is good. What they need to do, in the eyes of Cass Turner, is to stay consistent. She believes that they can be the most consistent team in the ECAC, and that's how they get their victories. Not only that, the Bobcats just need to play their game. They know what to do. They've been playing nearly flawless hockey these past 2 weeks, and they just need to keep going. They've been shooting the puck. They have not been letting the puck get out of the defensive zone for long, and as long as they keep that up, they can go far.
Thank you, David, for your wonderful analysis. We are going to step aside and take a quick break.
But don't go anywhere, as we will have men's and women's soccer coming up.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's get right into men's soccer, who faces off against the Marist Red Foxes on Wednesday. Let's get right into the highlight. The 11th meeting of all time between the Bobcats and Red Fox would be an interesting one, as the rain was coming down hard on the field, and these weather conditions would play a role throughout the contest. Let's get right into the first half. Red Fox, left wing, Jared J-Lo crosses the ball inside to Hugo Guerra, and he puts it away for an early Marist 1-0 lead. However, the Bobcats would answer right back as Tomas Civicula creates enough space to find an opening, and he does not miss his mark as he finishes with a goal of his own to tie it up at 1. This would do it for the first half. Moving on to the second half, the Bobcats continue to apply pressure as the commotion in the box was too much for the Marist defense to handle, and Captain Davey Brisedo intercepts the ball and sends it to the back to give the Bobcats their first lead of the game. Brisedo was only getting started though, as Alexander Sterngart finds him wide open downfield and makes the Marist defense pay the price. One touch on the left and it goes down for his 9th goal of the season. Marist was not going down without a fight though. They took advantage on the free kick and made the most of it as Damario Mantuti gets the last touch on the ball to get it past Carl Netzel. But that will be all, as Quinnipiac will hold on and win 3-2. After that win, let's check where the Bobcats are in the MAC standings. Eric DeCosta's squad is in 6th place with a 2-1 record. The lone loss was against the top team in the MAC, the Siena Saints. Quinnipiac, though, currently has the longest win streak in the conference with 2. Also top the table are the Iona Gales in 2nd and the Purple Eagles in 3rd. On Wednesday, the team will look to extend the win streak to 3 from the Bobcats face off against the 7th ranked team in the conference and the Rider Bronx.
Switching locker rooms, the women's soccer team also played against the Marist Red Foxes, but in Poughkeepsie. Let's see how they did. The Bobcats will make it 5 in a row as they take down the Red Foxes pretty easily, 4-0. Sofia Lospinoza recorded her 3rd shutout of the season and her 10th shutout in her career. Meanwhile, Rebecca Cook scored her 17th goal of the season. This goal also marked her 10th consecutive game she has scored at least 1 goal. Cook currently sits 2nd in the nation in goals scored this season. The Quinnipiac offense was completely dominant in this game as they outshot Marist 36-5. Speaking of Rebecca Cook, she just received national recognition from College Soccer News. Cook received recognition for being on the National Women's Team of the Week for her 4-goal performance against Siena. The National Team of the Week recognizes players who made a significant contribution to the success of their teams. Alongside Cook, there were recipients from Texas, USC, Virginia Tech, Rutgers, Stanford, Tennessee, and UCLA. Cook continues her run as one of the top players in the NCAA.
Just in this block alone, we have talked about the men's and women's soccer team playing against the Marist Red Foxes on Wednesday. But also on Wednesday, the Bobcats volleyball team held a match against the Red Foxes. And let's get right into the highlights. Damala Gunesh is going to start it up. She sets it up right here for Lexi. Actually, we're going to warm it up. We're going to do the warm up before we get into it. We're going to start it up right here. And Damala Gunesh is going to set it up for Lexi Morse, who spikes it down, giving the Bobcats a point. Marist wins the first set, 25-22. A lot of teamwork in set 2, 22-7 to 18-1. Ariana Diaz makes the kill. The Q will win the second set, 25-21, tied up at 1. A lot of play. Ariana Diaz, who passes it to Chloe Kayanui. Kayanui then gives it to Lexi Morse, and Morse makes the kill for the Bobcats. Marist wins third set, 25-14, leads match 2-1. Yagmir Gunes, number 7, passes it to Kayanui. Kayanui then gives it to Ariana Diaz. Diaz makes the spike. Another point for the Bobcats. KU wins fourth set, 25-21. Ties the match at 2. Ariana Diaz passes it to Yagmir Gunes as she gives it to Leg. Makes the kill for the Bobcats. Marist leads 12-10 in the 5th. But Marist will go on to win in this set as Quinnipiac will go down 3-2. After suffering that tough loss to Marist, the Bobcats hosted the Iona Gales. The Quinnipiac lost to the Gales in 4th set and fell to a 1-6 MAC record. Bobcats tied the game 1 to win, but could not win the next 2 sets. Senior outside hitter Ariana Diaz led Kyle Robinson's team in kills with 20, and right behind her was sophomore middle blocker Alexander Tennant with 17. Quinnipiac's losing streak to conference opponents extended to 4, but the team had an opportunity Sunday against the Manhattan Jaspers to end that streak. Gage, what happened in that game?
Oh, I'll tell you what happened in that game. Following the Bobcats' back-to-back losses to Iona and Marist, Kyle Robinson and the Bobcats hope to turn things around as they face the Manhattan Jaspers. Let's roll the tape. Kicking things off, it is the Bobcats looking to end their 4-game losing streak against the Manhattan Jaspers, currently sitting in 8th and 9th in the MAC respectively. So with that all being said, see senior leader Ariana Diaz getting her team pumped and ready to go into some Quinnipiac volleyball action, jumping right into the first set. It'll be the first-year student Bailey Brashear getting in on the action early. Quinnipiac leads the first set 4-3. We'll jump right in. Sophomore libero Alexander Tennant flying on the right side of the court to get the kill. Quinnipiac wins the first set 25-13. Jumping into the second set now, it's Damla Ganesh setting a beauty for Tennant, who strikes again. You saw it once, you're going to see it again. Damla Ganesh, another pass to Tennant, who demolishes the ball. 2-0, Quinnipiac going to the third set. Sliding into the third set, Brashear tells Damla, give it to me, and she shows her why. The Jaspers are trying to mount a comeback, but Tennant denies them the opportunity, and Quinnipiac holds on to win 3-0. With an eventful week of volleyball in the books, let's see where Quinnipiac sits in the MAC. Following the Quinnipiac win over the Jaspers, the Bobcats took complete control of the 8th place spot in the MAC standings. Currently in first place is the Fairfield Stags. They remain undefeated in the conference with a 7-0 record. Following one game behind is the Iona Gales. in second with Marist, in third with Canisius and Niagara battling out the 4th place spot, which makes the battle for Buffalo more interesting. And finally, rounding out the top 8 is Ryder and Quinnipiac. We will step aside for one more break, but coming up, we will be talking about field hockey.
Plus, women's goal earned some hardware, as well as volleyball beat reporter Emily Sweeney talked to superfan John Payne. Stick with us in just 2 minutes.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Thanks for sticking with us. The field hockey team went to Storrs, Connecticut to play against Big East rival UConn on Friday. Becca Maine's squad was tied 1-1 going into halftime, but the Huskies managed to score 3 more goals to win 4-1. UConn had 19 shots in the nets compared to the Bobcats 2. You heard that correctly, 19 shots by the Huskies. UConn also had 15 penalty corners attempts, while Quinnipiac had 0. The Bobcats are now 0-17 all time against the Huskies. They are 0-4 in Big East play. Quinnipiac had an opportunity to bounce back in a non-conference match against the 9-seeded ranked St. Joseph Hawks on Sunday. Let's get right into it. Quinnipiac field hockey again takes off St. Joseph. The Bobcats are trying to bounce back because they're on a big losing streak. Everybody getting it going, have the breast cancer win. There's pink going on. So let's go right into the first quarter. The Hawks take the lead early right here as Noah Shurigas gets the ball past goalkeeper Nina Santor. But Quinnipiac will respond in the second quarter. Control A rebound. Rachel Papernick outmaneuvers the Hawks in the circle, tying the game 1-1. Then we're going to move on to the third quarter. The Hawks take back momentum right here with this big-time goal grab student Haley Bitters taps the ball into the cage to give St. Joseph the lead once again. Now, heading into the fourth quarter, Quinnipiac lets up an insurance goal to the Hawks. A huge flick from Manu Gigalito. Passes Santor on the right, putting the game out of reach. The Hawks will score one more goal, but Quinnipiac dropped this one to number 9 St. Joseph 4-1.
Running over to the women's cross-country team for a second, the team just competed in the New England Championships. Let's see how they did. The women's cross-country team just won their 3rd race of the season in the New England Championships, and this race was not even close. The Bobcats took this one by 90 points. Graduate student Emily Young led the charge by placing second overall with a time of 17:56. The packing strategy worked out well for the Bobcats as 5 of their top 7 finishers finished in the top 10 of the meet. The team as a whole had an average marginal time of 21 seconds, which was the second smallest at the meet. Women's golf just earned a MAC Monthly Award. Let's take a look at who took home the honor. Senior golfer Leanne Peralta was just named MAC Golfer of the Month. Peralta started the month of September tied for 19th at the Yale Invitational, shooting 7 over to lead the Bobcats to a 30-over performance, a new program record for a 3-round event. She followed that up by tying third in the Boston College Intercollegiate by shooting 4 over while birdieing 8 holes in the tournament. For the month as a whole, she shot par or better in 4 of her 6 rounds of play. Now we're going to move over to Emily Sweeney, who talked with Mr. Payne about how to be a super fan for Quinnipiac volleyball.
To call Mr. Payne a fan is an understatement. He is the ultimate supporter and cheerleader of Quinnipiac volleyball, and I would guess Quinnipiac in general.
John Payne has been a fan of the Quinnipiac Bobcats volleyball team ever since his daughter came to this school and played on the team years ago. Today, Payne came back to cheer on the Bobcats in their matchup against Iona, and he had many chants for the fans.
My daughter Taylor played here for 4 years. She coached for 2. She was in the doctorate program. And then when she started playing volleyball, it was club volleyball. And at one point, we were in Saratoga, and somebody handed me, it was my birthday. So somebody bought me a birthday hat. So I put the birthday hat on, and it was an immediate study in human nature. So I started wearing them, and then people would give me hats. They would just find a hat. I had officials buy hats for me. And when she came here, I was on the internet, and I found a guy who makes custom-made hats.
The custom Bobcat hat and the other custom hats that Payne brings with him to the games has become a staple along with his cheering. Cheering, which the team greatly appreciated in today's game.
I loved it. Like, he was walking around with the hat on, like, hyping up the whole crowd, and we love that. Like, we definitely vibe off of the crowd's energy, so that was really great for us.
He, in my opinion, is and should be the poster child of any program that wants to have real fans, right? Because you can have the fair weather fans that show up when we're just winning, or some of the fans to show up just when we're giving out free stuff. But the ones who come and give 1,000,000% day or night, rain or shine, that's Mr. Payne.
Thank you, Emily, for that fantastic package. Now, Gage, you know what time it is?
Yeah, I think it's time for 5 plays. Keith, am I right?
Yep, it's time. I'm going to start out right here. Let's go into play number 5. Senior Rachel Papernick gets the ball inside the field talking team and gets it right past St. Joseph keeper with ease, and she will finish the playoff with the Bobcats' first goal of the game.
Okay, Keith, that might be it solved. Move over to the volleyball court now for a moment. Damo Ganesh perfectly sets up outside hitter Ariana Diaz for the kill. She sends a rocket off for a shoot for the point. Let's slow it down to see it once again, as was Ganesh to Diaz, and a shot that Marist had no chance of stopping.
Now play 3. We're going to go into men's soccer. Seconds after Marist scores, Quinnipiac 4, Tomas Sevkula answers right back as he catches the goalie off guard and finishes the game-tying goal. The Bobcats will go on to win this one 3-2.
All right, let's switch over to the ice for play number 2. Maddie Samuskevich sends a slapper that Mallory Maracher gets her stick on and sails into the back of the net for the goal. Let's take another look as Maracher is in the right place at the right time to finish the shot.
Now, let's get into play number 1. Colin Graff passes over to Ethan D. Young. He loses control of the puck, and Graff is going to rip it for the bottle-popping goal. As we see again, it is a beautiful one-time for Graff, and that will send this bottle flying.
Now that is all the time we have for tonight.
To keep up to date with all things Quinnipiac sports, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports, and be sure to download the Q30 TV app, which is available for download in the App Store.
For everyone working hard behind the scenes and our incredible producers, I am Gage Kilborn.
And I am Keith Savage. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful night.